Capturing video means getting your video from a tape-based device to your computer. Usually this tape-based device is a mini DV camcorder or an HDV high-definition camcorder that records to tape. And this capture is done in real time, which means that as you play the tape in the camcorder, you select which scenes or segments are recorded to your computer, and they are recorded as digital files onto your computer. The connection is usually made by a FireWire connection, IEEE 1394 connection rather than a USB, and you select the scenes that you want to record. In other words, you can start recording at any point in the tape, and you can stop recording at any point. It's just one of three ways that we're going to use to get video from our device onto our computer and into our project, but it's probably the oldest and most tried and true way to do it. So if you are shooting on mini DV or HDV tape-based video, this is how you're getting your video into your computer, the best way to do it, and using the program's capture tool to do it. So we have our camcorder here. It's a mini DV camcorder connected by our FireWire IEEE 1394 connection. And all I need to do now is launch the capture space. And that's launched up here at the top of the project media panel, clicking on the little camcorder icon, capture video. You do have the option here of selecting whether you're capturing from a DV. DV is, of course, standard definition mini DV, or an HDV or SDI connection. An HDV is, of course, high definition tape-based video. So we're going to be capturing from our mini DV. We click OK. The capture space opens and we have the opportunity to name our tape. I do recommend you name your tape because the name that you give here is going to be the name that each of your video segments is named as it's captured. Also, if you are capturing from many different camcorders or many different cassettes, this will help you identify which cassette it's coming from. We're going to call this one Beach. And generally, I will, and you probably will too, select the option to don't capture any clips right now. You can set it to start capturing immediately, but you have much more control if you select this option. Click OK. And now we're in our capture workspace. You'll look down at the lower left, and you will see the options here for playing the tape. We're connected to our camcorder via FireWire, so we now have control over the camcorder. And as you can tell by the playback buttons, we can go fast forward, we can go reverse, and we can play and pause, and eventually, when we're ready, capture the tape. Before we do, I want to show you a couple of options. If for some reason your device isn't recognized, despite the fact that you have a good FireWire connection, go up here to the Options panel and select Reconnect your current device. If that doesn't work, go over here to Video and make sure that Microsoft DV, Camera, and VCR are selected. That's a nice universal way to connect via FireWire. Make sure that's selected, and you should be able to now drive your camcorder. And we do that simply by, like I say, using these playback controls down here in the lower left. So I'm just going to play. And at the point I'm ready to start capturing, all I need to do is pause my tape, as I've done here, clicking the pause button, and then click capture. And now I will capture my video to my computer. It will be recorded from the camcorder to my computer.
Me too.
And I press stop when I'm ready to stop the capture here, and it will give me some statistics telling me that the capture was successful and that there were no frames dropped. It was a good, successful capture, and I can click Done. Now, there are a couple of options for controlling your capture here that are worth knowing, and those can be found under the Options menu at the top of the screen. If we select the options, we can go to Preferences. You notice that the top option here is Enable DV Device Control. This will usually be selected. The rare occasion when it isn't selected is when you're recording through a DV bridge. And these would be devices that would digitize analog video. So they're coming through another device. You don't have a direct connection to the device that's playing the video, so you would uncheck this. Otherwise, the computer gets a little confused. The program is looking to connect to the device. But generally, if you're connecting to a mini DV camcorder, you'll want that connected. Also, if we go over here to the Capture tab, we have some capture preferences. Notice the top one here, Enable DV Scene Detection. What the program will do if this is selected is that it will watch for changes in time code. This is whenever you paused or turned off the camcorder, and it will break these into shorter scenes. Generally, you want this also checked, and that is because you don't want generally an hour-long capture, right? You want a bunch of short scenes as individual clips saved here to your project media panel. The exception to this would, of course, be if you're connecting through, again, a DV bridge or some kind of digitizing device, because, again, the program is going to look for time code in order to make this scene detection. And if there's no time code, which you wouldn't have if you're capturing through a DV bridge, again, the program gets confused. But generally, when you're capturing from a mini DV camcorder, you'll want this selected. One other preference I want to show you, and that is here in disk management. This preference sets where your video is captured to. And you can see by default, it goes into your documents library, into your captured video area. You can, of course, click on this, and you can browse to wherever you would like your video captured to. So those are some just important settings to know. Beyond that, it's pretty simple. You go to the point in the tape that you want to start capture, you click the capture button, and then you turn it off when it's done. Now you see you have also a couple of other controls here. The shuttle control can be used to fast forward or reverse through the tape at various speeds, depending on how far to the left or right you push it. You can also capture an image, that is, just take one frame from your video, and you can also set it to capture your entire tape at once. You just click that button and walk away. We'll close this. There is a very similar workspace if you're capturing from HDV. That's high definition video that is recorded to a tape-based camcorder. We would open the same tool here, the capture video tool, but instead select the option for HDV or SDI. Now, I don't have HDV camcorder connected. Otherwise, these buttons here, the playback buttons, would be activated, but you can see they're very, very similar. We have the ability to fast forward and reverse and play and pause and go one frame at a time, which is what these are, step forward and step backwards. And of course, this would be your start capture button. To select where your video is recorded to, you just click on the browse button over here on the right, and you can send it wherever you want. And to identify your clips, you can give them any name you want here, and it will take that basic name and it will add 1, 2, 3 onto the end of it with each clip, so that way you can very easily select or identify your clips when you're ready to start editing. But the principle of capturing from HDV is virtually identical to capturing from mini DV. Just one thing to note up here in the preferences in the upper left-hand corner, and that is if you're capturing from a device other than an HDV camcorder, this is your HDV camcorder option right here. You see that you have a couple of other options here. Make sure that they are selected so that the program knows what device it's talking to. Other than that, pretty basic, pretty simple. It's recorded, like I say, in real time to your computer. Tape-based video is by and large not nearly as common as it once was 10, 15 years ago, but video captured from tape-based camcorders like mini DV and HDV camcorders and their professional counterparts, these were some of the first digital media. They were designed to interface perfectly with computer-based video editing programs like Vegas. It's still in use, and it is still some of the most efficient media to work with.